Hey everyone, today's modern deck primer is eggs, and I personally like the deck a lot. If you watch my videos, you'll know that I'm a big fan of combo decks in all formats really. So yeah, this is a combo deck, and it's not really you play like a specific card combination and just win. It's not like Malaria Pot or something where you just have a 3-card infinite life combo. Rather, it's sort of more of a turbo combo. And I'll explain a few of the deck's engines here. The main one is Faith's Reward. Before, the deck used to play Second Sunrise, but it got banned. So rather than playing 4 Second Sunrise and 4 Faith's Reward, we're playing 4 Faith's Reward and 2 Open the Vaults. And basically, both those cards do similar things. You just take all the stuff that you put into your grave and you bring it back, which in our deck are going to be lands and artifacts. Open the Vaults doesn't get back your lands. It only gets your artifacts, but Faith's Reward does get back lands. So basically, how we take advantage of this effect is we have these cards like Chromatic Star, Chromatic Sphere, even Terrarion, and we basically just, and also Lotus Bloom is a key one. So you just sack all these artifacts for mana and cards, you play Faith's Reward, get them all back, and then you get more mana and cards, and then you keep going. And another key part of the combo, which you'll hopefully eventually draw into if you don't open with it, is Krark-Clan Ironworks. You can sack artifacts for mana, and that's particularly useful with cards like Ichor Wellspring and Terrarion. So basically, the idea is that we can just sack all these artifacts for mana, cards, and we bring them back, and then we keep doing that. And basically, we just keep doing this, netting all of these mana and all of these cards. And the win condition happens to be Blue Sun Zenith. Of course, you'll need, some 60-ish mana to kill them, but turns out it's not that hard to get 60-ish mana. Some other builds of this deck will play Banefire as their win condition, because then you only need 20 mana. But I'm using Blue Sun over Banefire for a couple of reasons. The first is that there are infinite life gain combos in the format. If you're up against Malaria Pod and they just gain 10 trillion life, it will be pretty hard to Banefire for 10 trillion. But Blue Sun, of course, ignores their life total, only cares about the number of cards in their deck. And then the other reason to play it is that you can actually target yourself as well. So, while you're comboing, you can use Blue Sun to draw a bunch of cards to keep your combo going, and then later use it as a win condition. So it's both an enabler and a win condition, which is really sweet. That's the basic engine. Everything else is pretty much just built around that. We have 3 Lotus Bloom, which goes together with Reshape. That's really the key there. You can't just consider Lotus Bloom by itself. You have to consider it in the context of Reshape. So we can Reshape for 0, which costs 2 mana, to get Lotus Bloom, which adds 3. So right off the bat, that's going to net us some mana. But more importantly, Lotus Bloom is the key combo card with Faith's Reward and Open the Vault. So it finds that. You'll see some decks playing different numbers of Lotus Bloom. I decided to go with 3. We have Mox Opal. Does the same thing in this deck that does in Affinity. It's fast mana. Here we have Darksteel Citadel. Contributes to our Affinity count. We can sack it to this for extra mana. We have Ghost Quarter, which is pretty key as you blow up your own land and then get them back with Faith's Reward. And then we just have some islands, some plains, 1 Hallowed Fountain, and then 2 fetches, because fetches also interact favorably with Faith's Reward. Keep in mind, though, if you want to play a budget version of this deck, you can absolutely cut the 2 fetches and it won't make much difference. As explained here, we have all of our eggs. We have Codex Shredder, which basically allows us to go infinite with Faith's Reward, because we can Codex Shredder, add back our Faith's Reward, play Faith's Reward, get back our Codex Shredder and a bunch of other things, and then just keep going off. We have the Reshapes, which can find Lotus Bloom. They'll sometimes find Codex Shredder. I've even had them find Krark-Clan Ironworks, as well as Ichor Wellspring, all kinds of things. Occasionally, you'll even want to get a Mox Opal or something. And it's also a sack outlet for our Ichor Wellspring if we don't have the Ironworks, so Reshape is a good card all around. We have the Ichor Wellspring. If we have Krark-Clan Ironworks in play, it's basically a 0 mana draw 2, because it costs 2, but then it adds 2, which is pretty sweet. So pretty key part of our combo. We have Blue Sun, which has already been explained. It's our win condition. And we have Face Sword, Open the Vaults, and these, which are the engine. And then we have 4 Thoughtcast. And basically, that's just there to be a 1-mana draw 2. Sometimes it costs 2 mana or even 3, but it just helps us turbo through our deck. We're really about card velocity here. We're trying to go through our deck as quickly as possible. So yeah, if you haven't seen the deck in action before, it might be a little hard to understand just based on the description that I gave. It looks complicated, but there comes a point where it's just clear that, okay, we've obviously won. We just need to go through the motions. Sideboard, not particularly exciting. We've got Silence for counterspell decks, Cage for pod decks, Spellbomb for graveyard decks, Torpor Orb for things like Splinter Twin, Echoing Truth as just sort of a generic anti-hate card, Leyline of Sanctity for burn and heavy Thoughtseize decks. We've got Aura of Silence to win the mirror match. As far as matchups go, most of our matchups are pretty good. I mean, we're a pretty non-interactive deck. We fairly consistently go off on turn 4, occasionally even turn 3. So things like Birthing Pod, we're just faster than them. Things like Burn, we're usually just faster than them. I'll say that Splinter Twin is probably our hardest matchup because they are another turn 4 combo deck, except they are backed by counterspells, so they can stop us from comboing and then untap and combo us themselves. Other than that, it's mostly pretty good, especially in Game 1. Post-board, you of course have to fight hate, but sometimes you can just fight through it. Like if they have, say for example, Tormod's Crypt, you can just face the ward and then they crypt you and you face the ward again in response, which is pretty good. And sometimes people won't really know how to play against this deck either, which can be helpful. Hopefully the matches go pretty well. I know I'm going to enjoy it. Hopefully you guys will too. Alan Pennington with Gathering Magic. Thanks for watching.